Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Have you ever felt the sting of silence from someone you know deeply cares about you? It's confusing, right? One moment, she seems to be alien, and the next she pulls away, goes quiet, or acts distant. But what if I told you that her silence doesn't always mean she's losing interest? In fact, it could be the opposite. In today's video, we're diving into the quiet but powerful truth behind why a woman who loves you a lot might ignore you a lot. And no, this isn't about games, manipulation, or mixed signals. It's about emotion, fear, and a kind of love that runs deeper than words. Stick around because what you're about to learn may completely change the way you see her behavior and give you insight into what her silence is really saying. Number 1, her feelings are overwhelming. Sometimes when a woman loves you deeply, she doesn't draw closer. She pulls away. She may stop reaching out, act distant, or even begin to ignore you altogether. This can leave you confused, wondering what went wrong. But the truth is her silence may not mean disinterest. Instead, it could be a sign that her feelings for you are overwhelming and she simply doesn't know how to handle them. Let's explore this idea in depth, with care and clarity. 1. Deep emotion can be disorienting. For many people, women included, feeling a strong emotional attachment to someone can be unfamiliar territory, especially if she's used to guarding her heart or maintaining control over her life. Falling for someone can shake her sense of balance. She may feel disoriented by how much she thinks about you, how much she wants to be near you, or how easily her emotions are affected by your actions. Rather than leaning in, her first instinct might be to retreat, to step back and get her head on straight. This doesn't mean she loves you less. It means she feels so much that she needs time to process it all. 2. Vulnerability can be scary. To love is to open oneself up to the risk of being hurt. For someone who feels deeply, that risk is even greater. She may be afraid of being misunderstood, rejected, or emotionally dependent. She may worry that you won't feel the same way, or that if you did, things could still fall apart. When emotions run high, self-protection kicks in. Ignoring you might not be intentional or cold-hearted. It might simply be a defense mechanism. She's trying to shield herself from the vulnerability that comes with truly caring. 3. She may not trust her own reactions. Yet, overwhelming emotions don't just create mental stress, they affect behavior. You might think she's fine, calm, or unaffected, but inside she could be going through a wave of emotions, excitement, anxiety, joy, confusion, hope, and fear all at once. When she withdraws or goes silent, she might simply be trying to slow things down so she can catch up with herself. Emotionally, this pause isn't rejection, it's reflection. 4. She's processing more than you see. Emotional overwhelm doesn't always show on the surface. You might think she's fine, calm, or unaffected, but inside she could be going through a wave of emotions. Excitement, anxiety, joy, confusion, hope, and fear all at once. When she withdraws or goes silent, she might simply be trying to slow things down so she can catch up with herself emotionally. This pause isn't rejection, it's reflection. 5. Her past may be influencing her present. If she has a history of emotional pain, betrayal, or heartbreak, even the good feelings associated with love can feel unsafe. The intensity of caring for someone new might remind her of old wounds. This can cause her to shut down or ignore you, not because of who you are, but because of what her past taught her to fear. Overwhelming love brings up those fears, and until she feels emotionally safe, she may retreat into silence as a way of protecting herself from repeating old patterns. 6. She needs time to recalibrate. When something takes up a large emotional space in someone's life, it can push everything else out of balance. She may begin to feel like her thoughts revolve around you. What you said, how you acted, what it all means. That kind of focus can be exhausting, especially for someone who's used to being independent or emotionally self-contained. By pulling away or ignoring you, she's giving herself time to breathe, reset, and reclaim her emotional clarity. It's her way of stepping back into her own center so she doesn't lose herself in the intensity. 8. She's afraid her feelings can control her. When love becomes overwhelming, it can feel like losing control. She might catch herself checking her phone too often, overthinking your conversations, or getting distracted by thoughts of you when she's trying to focus elsewhere. This can be alarming to someone who prides herself on stability and self-discipline. Ignoring you might be her way of regaining control over her thoughts and actions. It's not personal. It's her trying to stay grounded. 9. She's trying to feel less by pulling away. If her feelings scare her, she may try to reduce their intensity by reducing contact. In her mind, more interaction may only feed the emotions she's trying to suppress. This is especially true for someone who thinks emotional intensity makes her vulnerable, weak, or dependent. Instead of risking that, she takes the route of emotional withdrawal, hoping the distance will help her cool down. Ironically, the reason for this distance is often how much she cares, not how little. She's afraid she'll ruin something that feels important. Feelings can bring pressure. She may fear that one wrong move, saying the wrong thing, showing too much interest, or coming on too strong, could damage the connection. So instead of taking action, she freezes. She says nothing. She waits. She steps back. The silence becomes a buffer, a way of keeping something valuable safe. In her mind, ignoring you for a while might be better than rushing in and making a mistake that ruins it all. Number 2, she's testing the strength of the bond without realizing it. Sometimes people test the bonds they have with others. Not always consciously, not always deliberately. Women, especially those who care deeply or feel emotionally vulnerable, may find themselves doing this in quiet, subtle ways. It's not about manipulation or playing games. It's often rooted in a need for reassurance, emotional safety, and the longing to see if the connection is genuine and lasting. In many cases, she isn't even aware she's doing it. Her actions may come from intuition, emotion, or inner conflict. But beneath the surface, she's asking a silent question. Is this bond real? Can it hold up not just in moments of ease, but in times of pressure, uncertainty, or silence? Let's explore the ways she might be testing the strength of the bond without even realizing it, and what those behaviors often mean. 1. She pulls back emotionally for a moment. This is one of the most subtle, but meaningful behaviors. You may notice that she becomes a little quieter than usual, a bit more distant or less expressive emotionally. It's not a full retreat, and she may not even mean to do it, but her slight withdrawal is her way of noticing how you respond when she isn't always on. She's not trying to punish or confuse you. More often, she's emotionally checking in, seeing if you notice the difference and how you treat her when she isn't giving her usual warmth or enthusiasm. What it reveals, she wants to know the bond isn't based solely on her energy. She's quietly hoping you'll meet her where she is without needing her to constantly hold the emotional space. 2. She shares something deep then watches closely. When she opens up about something personal, whether it's a childhood memory, a fear, a disappointment, or a quiet hope, she's not just sharing, she's also watching. She's looking at how you receive that vulnerability. Do you listen with presence? Do you offer empathy or dismiss it with a quick joke? She may not even be fully aware that she's hoping for reassurance or validation, but she is. What it reveals, she's testing whether emotional intimacy is safe. Not dramatic, not performative, just safe. She wants to see if her deeper layers are respected and held with care. 3. She observes how you respond to her silence. Sometimes silence isn't a signal of something being wrong. It might just be her way of being present, reflective, or internally occupied. But how you respond to that silence. Do you rush to fill it, assume something's wrong, or give her quiet companionship tells her a lot. To her, your reaction becomes a mirror of emotional patience. She may not voice it, but she's observing. Can you stay present with her even when there are no words? What it reveals, she's sensing. Whether your connection needs constant noise to survive or whether it's deep enough to hold the quiet. 4. She brings up something slightly uncomfortable. It might be a past misunderstanding, a small annoyance, or a difficult truth. She brings it up not to stir conflict, but to see how conflict is handled between you. She's not looking for perfection. She's looking for maturity. Can the relationship hold space for truth even when it's awkward? Can the two of you disagree without disconnecting? What it reveals, she's measuring emotional safety, emotional maturity, and whether honesty will weaken or strengthen the connection. 5. She lets you lead for a while. She's usually the planner, the emotional supporter, or the one keeping the rhythm of connection going. She may stop. Not because she doesn't care, but because she's tired of carrying it alone. In stepping back, she's seeing, will you notice? Will you step forward? Will you take initiative even in small ways? What it reveals, she's hoping to see balance, that the bond doesn't rely entirely on her efforts. She wants to know that you're invested, not just when she's pouring energy into it, but when she isn't. 6. She introduces you to a different side of her life. Maybe she invites you into her quieter routines, her family circle, or a more vulnerable part of her personality. It might seem like a casual moment, but it's not. When a woman lets you see different sides of her world, it's a way of extending trust. How you respond, whether with interest, patience, or discomfort, helps her understand what kind of space your bond occupies. She's opening a door and watching whether you step through with genuine interest or whether you only show up for the parts of her that are convenient or familiar. 7. She becomes more honest about her needs. This can be the hardest thing for someone who deeply values harmony. She may begin expressing things like, I wish you'd reach out more. Or, sometimes I feel like I'm the only one trying. It's not criticism, it's vulnerability in disguise. It means she cares enough to voice what she needs, instead of staying silent and slowly shutting down. What it reveals is testing whether the bond is strong enough to hold honesty without it being seen as too much or met with defensiveness. Number 3, she's afraid of coming on too strong. But love can be both beautiful and intimidating. For many women especially, those who feel deeply, expressing affection openly isn't as simple as it may seem. Sometimes, even when her heart is fully invested, she holds back. Not because she doesn't care, but because she's afraid of coming on too strong. This hesitation isn't a lack of interest. It's often a reflection of caution, vulnerability, and an awareness of how emotions can be misinterpreted. Let's take a thoughtful look at the real reasons behind this fear and what it reveals about her inner world. 1. She's been misunderstood before. Many women have had past experiences where showing genuine care was taken the wrong way. Perhaps she opened up too soon or invested emotionally in someone who didn't reciprocate. Instead of her sincerity being valued, it may have been dismissed or seen as clingy or too much. These experiences leave a lasting impression. Now, when she feels strongly for someone, her instinct might be to hold back, to avoid being misjudged again. Her caution doesn't mean she's it means she's trying not to repeat painful history. 2. She doesn't want to push you away. Ironically, one of the reasons she may be holding back is that she doesn't want to scare you off. Even if her heart wants to reach out, ask questions, spend more time with you, or share more of herself, she fears that doing too much too soon might make you feel pressured. So instead of saying everything she feels, she lets silence fill the space. She'd rather protect the connection by pacing herself than risk pushing you away with too much intensity. 3. She values self-respect. There's a quiet strength in knowing when to speak and when to hold back. A woman who values her self-respect might be deeply in love, but still keep her emotions guarded, not because she's playing games, but because she's waiting to see if the feelings are mutual and consistent. She wants to protect her sense of dignity. Showing too much vulnerability too early, especially if she's unsure where you stand, might feel like giving away something she's not ready to part with. Her restraint is a way of honoring her own emotional boundaries. 4. She's still getting to know you. Even if the connection feels strong, she might still be figuring you out. She could be observing how you treat others, how you handle stress, or how consistent you are with your words and actions. It's not that she doubts you, but rather, she wants to make sure what she's feeling is grounded in reality, not just emotion. So, instead of flooding you with affection or attention, she watches and listens. Her silence or her careful communication is part of a thoughtful process of trust building. 5. She's afraid she's not enough. On the surface, she might seem confident and composed, but underneath she may wrestle with a quiet fear. What if I'm not what he's looking for? This self-doubt leads to hesitation. If she loves you, she wants to be her best self around you. But if she's unsure of how you truly see her, she may worry that showing too much will expose her insecurities. Her distance is not rejection. It's a form of emotional self-defense rooted in a desire to be accepted, but a fear that she might fall short. 6. She's not sure if it's the right fit. Even if her feelings for you are real, life circumstances might make her hesitate. She might be focused on her career, healing from a past relationship, or navigating personal growth. She knows that love deserves time and energy. And if she doesn't have that to give right now, she may keep her emotions guarded. By not coming on too strong, she's trying to balance what she feels with what her life currently allows. It's her way of respecting both you and herself. 7. She wants to see what you do without pressure. When a woman holds back, sometimes it's because she wants to see how much you'll offer freely. Wants to know, will he show interest without me having to chase? Will he reach out even if I don't always initiate? This doesn't mean she's playing hard to get. It means she wants to know if your interest is genuine and if you value her without needing her to constantly prove her care. Her restraint is a quiet request for reciprocity. She believes in letting things grow naturally. Some women are thoughtful, introspective, and patient. To them, love isn't about dramatic gestures or fast-paced confessions. It's about building something real over time. She may not want to jump in emotionally. Instead, she chooses to let the connection evolve naturally. This kind of woman often believes that the most meaningful relationships are not rushed but cultivated slowly with mutual effort, understanding, and time. 9. She's afraid of rejection. Even the strongest, most confident people fear rejection. Loving someone or even liking them deeply requires courage. And sometimes the fear of being turned down is louder than the desire to express love. So instead of taking that risk, she stays silent. She waits not because she doesn't feel, but because she's hoping for a sign that her feelings are safe with you. 10. She's waiting for you to show her it's okay. Sometimes all she needs is a sign, something simple, consistent, and sincere. A gesture that says, you don't have to hide what you feel. I'm not going anywhere. When a woman is afraid of coming on too strong, she's not asking for reassurance in words alone. She's watching for consistency, for calm energy, for a presence that makes her feel seen, understood, and accepted. Once she feels emotionally safe, she may start to open up, not all at once, but little by little. Number 4, she's working through personal struggles. Sometimes when a woman pulls back, seems distant, or behaves differently, it's easy to assume it's about you. But often it's not. Sometimes she's not acting. She's carrying something heavy. She's not ignoring you. She's trying to hold herself together. She's not being complicated. She's fighting an internal battle you may not even see. When a woman is working through personal struggles, her behavior may shift, not because she's lost interest or grown distant, but because life has placed burdens on her shoulders that she's quietly trying to carry. Understanding this requires emotional maturity, patience, and compassion. Let's look at the deeper reasons why her behavior might change and why it might have nothing to do with you but everything to do with what she's facing within herself. 1. she's emotionally exhausted. Life can become overwhelming. Whether it's family responsibilities, health issues, financial pressure, or emotional wounds from the past, she may be emotionally drained. When someone is depleted, their ability to engage with others, no matter how much they care, is reduced. To withdraw not because she doesn't want to connect, but because she doesn't have the emotional energy to do so. It's not personal. It's survival. 2. She's processing something deeply personal. People don't always talk about what's bothering them, especially if it feels deeply personal or painful. She may be quietly processing grief, regret, shame, or uncertainty. These are not easy topics to bring up in everyday conversation, and sometimes silence becomes a form of self-protection. She's not necessarily shutting people. She's trying to make sense of something inside herself first. 3. She's trying to avoid being a burden. Many people, especially those who are used to being strong for others, find it difficult to ask for help. She may believe that talking about her pain or admitting she's struggling would place a burden on the people around her. So instead of reaching out, she keeps things to herself, even as she silently hopes that someone might notice and understand. 4. She's protecting her peace. When life becomes overwhelming, protecting your mental space becomes essential. She may pull back from social interactions, conversations, or even relationships, not out of anger or distance, but as an act of self-preservation. She's trying to limit any additional stress, even if it means temporarily stepping away from people she cares about. 5. She's working on inner healing. Healing isn't loud. It's often quiet, messy, and slow. She might be confronting old wounds, trying to rebuild her confidence, or redefining her sense of self. These are deeply personal processes that require solitude, reflection, and sometimes silence. She may not share the details, but that doesn't mean she isn't working hard behind the scenes to become whole again. 6. She's overwhelmed by change. Sometimes life brings a series of changes all at once. Career shifts, health scares, family issues, emotional without pressure. When a woman holds back, sometimes it's because she wants to see how much you'll offer freely. Wants to know, will he show interest without me having to chase? Will he reach out even if I don't always initiate? This doesn't mean she's playing hard to get. It means she wants to know if your interest is genuine and if you value her without needing her to constantly prove her care. Her restraint is a quiet request for reciprocity. She believes in letting things grow naturally. Some women are thoughtful, introspective, and patient. To them, love isn't about dramatic gestures or fast-paced confessions. It's about building something real over time. She may not want to jump in emotionally. Instead, she chooses to let the connection evolve naturally. This kind of woman often believes that the most meaningful relationships are not rushed but cultivated slowly with mutual effort, understanding, and time. 9. She's afraid of rejection. Even the strongest, most confident people fear rejection. Loving someone or even liking them deeply requires courage. And sometimes the fear of being turned down is louder than the desire to express love. So instead of taking that risk, she stays silent. She waits not because she doesn't feel, but because she's hoping for a sign that her feelings are safe with you. 10. She's waiting for you to show her it's okay. Sometimes all she needs is a sign, something simple, consistent, and sincere. A gesture that says, you don't have to hide what you feel. I'm not going anywhere. When a woman is afraid of coming on too strong, she's not asking for reassurance in words alone. She's watching for consistency, for calm energy, for a presence that makes her feel seen, understood, and accepted. Once she feels emotionally safe, she may start to open up, not all at once, but little by little. Number 4, she's working through personal struggles. Sometimes when a woman pulls back, seems distant, or behaves differently, it's easy to assume it's about you. But often it's not. Sometimes she's not acting. She's carrying something heavy. She's not ignoring you. She's trying to hold herself together. She's not being complicated. She's fighting an internal battle you may not even see. When a woman is working through personal struggles, her behavior may shift, not because she's lost interest or grown distant, but because life has placed burdens on her shoulders that she's quietly trying to carry. Understanding this requires emotional maturity, patience, and compassion. Let's look at the deeper reasons why her behavior might change and why it might have nothing to do with you but everything to do with what she's facing within herself. 1. She's emotionally exhausted. Life can become overwhelming. Whether it's family responsibilities, health issues, financial pressure, or emotional wounds from the past, she may be emotionally drained. When someone is depleted, their ability to engage with others, no matter how much they care, is reduced. To withdraw not because she doesn't want to connect, but because she doesn't have the emotional energy to do so. It's not personal. It's survival. 2. She's processing something deeply personal. People don't always talk about what's bothering them, especially if it feels deeply personal or painful. She may be quietly processing grief, regret, shame, or uncertainty. These are not easy topics to bring up in everyday conversation, and sometimes silence becomes a form of self-protection. She's not necessarily shutting people. She's trying to make sense of something inside herself first. 3. She's trying to avoid being a burden. Many people, especially those who are used to being strong for others, find it difficult to ask for help. She may believe that talking about her pain or admitting she's struggling would place a burden on the people around her. So instead of reaching out, she keeps things to herself even as she silently hopes that someone might notice and understand. 4. She's protecting her peace. When life becomes overwhelming, protecting your mental space becomes essential. She may pull back from social interactions, conversations, or even relationships, not out of anger or distance, but as an act of self-preservation. She's trying to limit any additional stress, even if it means temporarily stepping away from people she cares about. 5. She's working on inner healing. Healing isn't loud. It's often quiet, messy, and slow. She might be confronting old wounds, trying to rebuild her confidence, or redefining her sense of self. These are deeply personal processes that require solitude, reflection, and sometimes silence. She may not share the details, but that doesn't mean she isn't working hard behind the scenes to become whole again. 6. She's overwhelmed by change. Sometimes life brings a series of changes all at once. Career shifts, health scares, family issues, emotional upheavals. Even positive changes can bring stress when they demand adjustments. She may be doing her best to keep up with these changes while staying afloat. Her silence or distraction isn't about you. It's about everything she's trying to navigate. 7. She's managing anxiety or depression. Mental health struggles don't always look the way people expect. To smile in public but cry when she's alone. She may seem composed but feel like she's crumbling inside. If she's managing anxiety, depression, or other emotional challenges, she may need more patience, not pressure. What she needs most is understanding, not assumptions. 8. She's trying to find her own way again. Sometimes people go through periods where they feel lost, uncertain about where they're headed or who they are. She might be going through such a phase, trying to realign herself with her values, dreams, and direction. During this time, she might not have the clarity or certainty she once did. She's trying to rediscover herself, and that journey can't always be rushed. 9. She's facing pressure behind the scenes. Not all struggles are visible. She may be juggling responsibilities that weigh heavily on her. Caring for aging parents, supporting siblings, working long hours, or dealing with bureaucratic or legal matters. You may not see these struggles, but they could be taking a significant emotional toll. Her seeming distance might be the result of a storm she hasn't talked about. 10. She's giving herself the grace to. In a world that values constant motion and productivity, Taking a pause is an act of strength. She may have recognized that she needs a break from expectations, from giving endlessly, from pretending everything is okay. This pause might look like distance, but it's actually a commitment to her own well-being. She's honoring her limits, not rejecting the people in her life. How to respond when she's struggling. When a woman is going through something difficult, here's what can help. 1. Give her space, but not silence. Let her know you're there without pressing her for answers. A simple, "I'm here if you ever want to talk," can mean the world. Silence can be consoling, but not if it feels like abandonment. Quietly present. 2. Avoid making it about you. It's easy to internalize someone's change in behavior, but stepping back and realizing that it might not be about you allows you to offer support instead of taking offense. 3. Offer encouragement, not solutions. She may not want advice. She may just want to be seen. Kind message, a small gesture, or a genuine compliment can be more healing than any attempt to fix her situation. 4. Respect her process. Healing isn't linear. There might be days she's open and days she's withdrawn. Don't expect consistency when she's still finding her balance. Let her move at her own pace. 5. Stay patient. Time is a powerful healer. If you care about her, trust her process. Even if she doesn't open up right away, your continued kindness can help build a bridge back to connection. Number 5. She doesn't know if her love is safe with you yet. Here's why. When a woman hesitates to show you the full depth of her feelings, it's not always about doubt in you as a person. It's often about something deeper. Emotional safety. Love at its most honest level requires vulnerability. And if she doesn't feel emotionally secure, she will hold back. Not because she doesn't care, but because she doesn't know if it's safe to give you everything her heart is carrying. Let's explore the reasons why a woman may love you but still question if her love is safe with you. These reasons are rooted not in drama or games but in real human experience, past wounds, and the desire to protect something sacred. 1. She's been hurt before. Past pain has a powerful echo. If she's experienced heartbreak, betrayal, abandonment, or emotional manipulation before, her heart remembers, even if she doesn't talk about it. She may look calm and composed on the outside, but underneath there could be silent questions running through her mind. Will this end the way the last one did? Can I really trust that he won't change suddenly? What if I give everything and he walks away? Her distance isn't coldness. It's a scar trying to avoid being reopened. She's not punishing you for someone else's mistakes. She's protecting herself from repeating a cycle that once broke her. Number 2, she's watching how you handle emotion. Women often listen not just to what you say, but to how you respond emotionally. Do you get defensive when she expresses discomfort? Do you brush off her feelings as too much? Do you stay present when conversations get heavy? If she doesn't yet know whether you're safe to talk to, really talk to, she'll hold her love back. Not because she lacks feeling, but because she doesn't know if it's safe to give you everything her heart is carrying. Emotional safety isn't about perfection. It's about being able to show up for each other, even when things are raw or unpolished. Number 3, she's afraid of losing herself. Some women associate love with losing their independence or identity, especially if they've been in controlling or one-sided relationships in the past. Even if she's drawn to you, she may fear that surrendering to love will require her to give up pieces of herself. If she doesn't yet know whether you'll respect her boundaries, encourage her ambitions, or support her growth as an individual, she may love you quietly from a distance. She's looking for reassurance, not in words, but in how you consistently treat her as a full person, not just a romantic role in your life. Number 4, she's unsure if you'll stay during her low points. Love often shows up in the ordinary, even messy moments, not just in the highlights. If she hasn't seen how you respond when she's tired, overwhelmed, insecure, or simply not her best, she may hesitate to give you all of her heart. She might ask herself, will he still care for me if I'm not cheerful? Will he make space for me when I'm struggling? Can I lean on him or will he pull away? Until she knows that your love includes patience, presence, and understanding. Even when she's not shining, she may keep part of her affection hidden, waiting to feel fully safe. Number 5, she's not sure you see the real her. Sometimes people fall for the idea of someone, what they project, not who they are. If she senses that you're in love with her appearance, achievements, or charm, but haven't seen her complexities, she may hold back emotionally. She wants to be loved for the parts of herself that are quiet, complicated, or even contradictory. The parts she doesn't show the world easily. If she doesn't feel truly seen, she may smile around you, but still feel distant inside. To feel safe, she needs to believe that your interest isn't surface level. It's rooted in genuine understanding. Number 6, she's still learning to trust herself. Sometimes the question isn't, can I trust him? But, can I trust myself to choose wisely? If she's made painful relationship decisions in the past, she might be cautious about her own judgment. She may love you deeply, but hold back not because she thinks you're unworthy, but because she's still unsure whether she can read the signs clearly. It's not distrust, it's a self-protective pause. In these moments, patience matters more than persuasion. She's not waiting for perfection from you. She's waiting to feel clarity within herself. Number 7, she's trying to understand the pace of the relationship. When emotions move fast, it can feel both thrilling and dangerous. To genuinely care for you, but feel the relationship is moving quicker than her heart can process. If she slows things down, creates a bit of space, or seems to retreat emotionally, it could be her way of making sure the connection has depth, not just momentum. She's not playing hard to get. She's trying to ensure she's not getting swept away before she knows if the foundation is solid. Number 8, she's watching how you treat others. A woman who values emotional safety pays attention to how you treat people who can't offer you anything, how you speak about your past relationships, how you behave when you're frustrated, and how you respond when things don't go your way. These observations help her answer a silent question. How will he treat me when things get difficult? Until she sees consistency, empathy, and humility, not just when you're around, but in everyday situations, she may remain cautious with her heart. Number 9, she's waiting to see if you'll be patient with her pace. Emotional safety grows over time. If she feels pressure to open up faster or make a decision already, she'll interpret that as a red flag. Love that feels rushed often feels unsafe. On the other hand, you give her space, honor her rhythm, and respect her emotional timing. She'll begin to trust that you're not just after a result, you're invested in the journey with her. Patience doesn't mean passivity, means presence without pressure. Number 10, she's hoping you'll make her feel safe without asking. Perhaps the most unspoken reason, she's quietly hoping that you'll recognize her hesitation and meet her there, not with demands, but with gentleness. She's not going to write you a manual on how to love her. She's hoping your awareness, kindness, and consistency will show her that you are a safe place to land. She may be reserved now, but it's not permanent. It's just the stage before trust becomes fully formed. Number 6, she's trying to regain her sense of control. There are moments when a woman's behavior changes, not because she has stopped caring, but because she's trying to find her footing again. Maybe you've noticed a shift. She pulls back, she sets more boundaries, or she stops engaging in the same way she used to. These aren't signs that she's cold or distant by nature. Rather, they may be signs that she's trying to regain her sense of control over her emotions, her decisions, and her life. Let's explore the thoughtful and non-dramatic reasons why a woman might act this way, especially in situations where she once gave freely, but now seems more measured, careful, or private. 1, she's felt powerless for too long. The core of regaining control is often the experience of having lost it. If a woman has been in a situation, be it a relationship, a family dynamic, or even a workplace, where her voice was overlooked or her feelings were sidelined, she may begin reclaiming her autonomy in quiet but firm ways. This doesn't necessarily involve confrontation. Sometimes it's in the form of choosing not to respond immediately to texts, declining invitations, or making independent plans. It's not about pushing people, but it's about remembering she has a choice. 2. She's rebuilding emotional boundaries. If she used to be open and expressive, but now seems more reserved, it may be because she gave too much of herself too soon or to the wrong people. Now she's learning how to protect her energy. Rebuilding boundaries isn't a sign of bitterness. It's a sign of wisdom. She may be choosing carefully where she invests her time and trust. It's a process of defining what's healthy and what no longer feels right to carry. 3. She's working through disappointment. Disappointment, especially when unspoken, can quietly erode trust and emotional security. If she feels let down, not necessarily by one big event, but by a series of small moments where she didn't feel prioritized, understood, or heard, she may begin to detach in subtle ways. This isn't about punishing anyone. It's about giving herself the space to process what happened, to grieve expectations that weren't met, and to recalibrate her emotional compass. 4. She's trying to center herself again. Sometimes she steps back simply because she needs to hear her own voice again. When life gets noisy with demands from relationships, work, or others' expectations, she may temporarily distance herself to reconnect with what she wants and needs. This isn't selfish. It's an act of self-preservation. To move forward with clarity, she must first remove herself from the noise and ask, what do I want? And what do I need to feel safe and whole again? 5. She's guarding herself against mixed signals. When communication feels inconsistent or when she senses that someone is unsure about her, she may take a step back, not to manipulate, but to protect her heart. Mixed signals can create a sense of instability. For someone who values emotional clarity, that lack of consistency can be quietly unsettling. So, she pauses. She becomes less emotionally available, not because she's indifferent, but because she's waiting to see if her presence is truly respected and valued. 6. She's redefining what matters. But can trigger moments of reevaluation. Maybe she's gone through a major life change, a loss, a career shift, or simply an inner transformation. In these moments, she begins to redefine what really matters to her. What used to excite her may now feel draining. The relationship she once clung to may no longer feel aligned with who she's becoming. Regaining control means letting go of what no longer fits and gently creating space for new priorities. 7. She's done explaining herself. At a certain point, she stops feeling the need to justify every decision, every feeling, or every boundary. That's not coldness. It's growth. If she no longer over-explains why she's unavailable, why she's saying no, or why she's focusing on herself, it's because she's learned that her peace doesn't require permission. Regaining control sometimes means becoming more silent, not more vocal. 8. She's learning to trust herself again. After a period of emotional imbalance where she may have second-guessed herself or relied too heavily on others' opinions, she starts returning to her inner voice. That may look like making her own decisions, going places alone, or setting new goals that aren't dependent on anyone. It's not about isolation. It's about self-trust. When a woman learns to trust herself again, it changes the way she shows up in every part of her life. Number 7, she's given you space even if you didn't ask for it. Sometimes, the most puzzling part of human connection is when someone steps back, not with anger, not with drama, but with a quiet kind of distance. You may not have asked for space, but suddenly she's given it to you anyway. It might leave you confused, wondering if you did something wrong. But in truth, there are many thoughtful, nonverbal reasons why a woman might give you space even when you didn't ask for it. It's not always a sign that she's losing interest. In fact, it can be the opposite. Let's explore the deeper, often misunderstood reasons behind this quiet gesture. 1. She respects your independence. At the heart of a healthy connection is mutual respect. A woman who gives you space may be doing so because she respects your need to be your own person. Even if you never vocalize that need, she may have noticed you're someone who values your routines, your alone time, or your focus. And she doesn't want to interfere with that. By stepping back, she's showing maturity. She's not clinging, crowding, or demanding constant attention. Instead, she's giving you room to breathe, trusting that your bond can survive, even thrive, without being in constant This isn't distance out of disinterest. It's space out of respect. Number 2, she's trying not to overstep. When a woman truly cares about you, she becomes more conscious of your boundaries, even the unspoken ones. She senses that you've been distracted, busy, or emotionally preoccupied. She may quietly step back to avoid adding pressure. She might think, maybe he needs time. I don't want to be too much right now. It's not rejection, it's restraint. She's choosing not to overstep, even if her heart wants to be close. That's a quiet kind of care, not inserting herself where she's not sure she's welcome. Number 3, she's giving you time to reflect or miss her. Sometimes space is not about withdrawal. It's about allowing room for perspective. She may step back, not to punish or provoke you, but to give you a moment to recognize what she brings into your life. When someone is always around, their presence can become familiar, even taken for granted. She may instinctively feel that giving you space will allow you to reflect not just on her but on the connection as a whole. It's not a tactic. It's a quiet hope that space will lead to deeper understanding. Number 4, she values emotional balance. Some people manage relationships with intention and care. If she feels like emotions are getting too intense or if communication has become strained, she may step back to let things settle. This isn't her way of ignoring you. It's her way of protecting the health of the relationship. To be trying to avoid unnecessary conflict, pressure, or emotional overload. In her mind, a short pause might be healthier than a rushed reaction. In giving you space, she's giving both of you time to return to a place of calm and clarity. Number 5, she's battling internal uncertainty. Sometimes the distance someone creates has nothing to do with you and everything to do with their own emotional processing. She might be uncertain about her feelings, her direction in life, or what she truly wants in a relationship. Rather than pulling you into that storm, she steps back quietly. She may care deeply, but until she has clarity within herself, she doesn't want to burden you with inconsistency. This kind of space isn't abandonment, it's reflection. Number 6, she doesn't want to be a burden. A woman who is empathetic and emotionally aware may become overly cautious about her presence in your life. If she feels like you're going through something, stress, work pressure, family responsibilities, she may give you space out of care, not avoidance. She might think, he has enough on his plate. I don't want to add to it. So, she fades into the background, not because she wants to leave, but because she wants to honor your time and your current season of life. This type of silence is considerate, not cold. Number 7, she's waiting to see what you'll do. Sometimes giving space is a subtle invitation. She may want to know whether the relationship is mutual, whether you will take initiative, reach out, or notice her absence. It's not about playing games. It's about hoping you'll show care without being prompted. She may feel emotionally exposed and is stepping back to see how invested you are. Will you check in? Will you ask how she's feeling, or will you remain silent? 2. Her silence might be her way of finding out. Number 8, she's unsure. If you feel the same, and here's what that looks like. There are moments in human connection when one person begins to feel a shift, an emotional pull, a growing admiration, or a deepening interest, and yet they don't know if the feeling is mutual. When a woman feels uncertain about your feelings toward her, it doesn't always show in obvious Often, her hesitations, mixed signals, or small inconsistencies aren't signs of indifference, but of caution, vulnerability, and hope. Let's explore the key reasons and behaviors that often show up when a woman is unsure if you feel the same and what they really mean. 1. She hesitates to initiate conversations. When she isn't sure where you stand, she might hold back from being the one to text first, call, or initiate deeper conversations. It's not that she doesn't want to talk to you. She likely does, but she fears being too forward or misreading your level of interest. She might second guesses herself after pressing send, wondering if she said too much or too little. Hesitation often comes from wanting to protect her dignity and avoid making you feel pressured. 2. Her body language is mixed. She might lean in at times, seem genuinely engaged, and then suddenly seem distant. This push and pull in her nonverbal cues could reflect her internal struggle. Part of her wants to be open and warm. Another part is waiting for clear signs from you. If she's not sure how you feel, she may unconsciously hold back, afraid of coming across as too emotionally invested too soon. 3. She responds but rarely leads. You might notice that she replies to your messages or responds warmly to your presence, but she doesn't initiate plans or steer the direction of the conversation. This could be a quiet way of saying, "I'm here, but I need to know you want me here." She's testing the waters, looking to see if you'll take that next step of interest. 4. She watches how you interact with others to gather clues. If she's unsure of your feelings, she might observe how you treat other people, especially other women, to gather clues of how you engage with her versus others. If you're naturally friendly and kind, she might misread your behavior as neutral unless you make your intentions clearer. She opens up just enough to might share stories, laugh with you, or be emotionally supportive, but there's still a wall she keeps up. You sense she's warm but guarded. This often means she wants to connect, but doesn't feel secure enough yet to fully open up. She's waiting to see if you're emotionally safe for her. Someone who values her openness without judgment or distance. 6. She asks subtle emotionally charged questions. She might ask you things like, "Do you think people can stay close without talking every day?" Or, "Do you believe men and women can be just friends?" These aren't just casual thoughts. They're gentle probes into your emotional availability. She's trying to gauge where you stand without putting herself at risk of embarrassment or rejection. 8. She brings up hypotheticals. Instead of saying how she feels outright, she might speak through what if scenarios, like what if someone liked someone and wasn't sure how to tell them. These moments are often masked attempts to express uncertainty without direct vulnerability. She's putting the emotion out there, disguised as fiction or curiosity, hoping you'll pick up on it. 9. She gives you space but doesn't disappear. She might not overwhelm you with attention. She gives you room, lets you make the next move, but she remains emotionally present. She's balancing between showing respect for your space and signaling that she's still interested. This is one of the clearest signs that she's unsure, but still hoping. Number 9. She thinks you don't notice the little things she does. In many meaningful connections, it's not always the grand gestures that carry the most weight. Often, it's the small, quiet things someone does every day that reveal the depth of their care. For a woman who truly values you, her affection often shows up in subtle, everyday efforts. But when those efforts go unnoticed, especially repeatedly, it can cause her to pull back, feel unseen, or even grow quietly distant. This article explores why she thinks you don't notice the little things she does and how those unnoticed moments can have a deeper emotional impact than you might realize. 1. Her love is expressed through quiet efforts. Not every woman expresses her care with dramatic words or big surprises. Many show love through thoughtfulness, packing a snack for you, remembering your preferences, sending a message at just the right time, or offering help without being asked. These gestures may seem small on the surface, but they come from a place of emotional attentiveness. When she feels these things aren't seen, she starts to wonder if her efforts matter to you at all. It's not that she expects constant praise, but she hopes. Her quiet presence doesn't go invisible. 2. She's tired of always giving first. There are women who naturally take initiative in relationships. They check in, plan time together, offer emotional support, and pay attention to the fine details. When those gestures aren't acknowledged or reciprocated, it can feel one-sided. She may not say anything aloud, but inside she begins to wonder, why do I always notice him, but he rarely seems to notice me? Over time, this emotional imbalance wears her down. She begins to believe that you either don't care or don't care enough to show it in return. 3. She values the connection too much to beg for recognition. A woman with quiet strength won't demand appreciation. She won't constantly say, "Look what I did for you." Instead, it does things silently, hoping you'll notice, not because she needs validation, but because it's nice to feel seen by someone who matters. But if she consistently feels overlooked, she may eventually withdraw. Not to punish you, but to protect her heart from feeling undervalued. 4. She reads meaning into what you choose to notice. To her, what you notice says something about where your attention truly lies. If you remember a joke someone else made but forget the comforting text she sent when you were struggling, she notices that. If you compliment what someone else cooked, but don't mention the dinner she made for you, she notices that too. Comparisons aren't always intentional, but they build up in her mind. Eventually, she may start to feel like she's emotionally invisible even if she's physically present. 5. She feels emotionally alone even when you're together. When the little things she does are ignored, a quiet loneliness sets in. She might still show up, still help, still care, but inside she feels isolated. Not because you're unkind, but because she doesn't feel emotionally met. This emotional distance can be hard to talk about. So instead of expressing it directly, she might withdraw emotionally, go quiet, or stop doing those small things altogether. It's her way of saying, I'm giving a part of myself you don't seem to want. 6. She's looking for connection, not credit. It's important to understand she's not keeping score. She's not doing things to gain attention or to earn your love. Her efforts come from sincerity, but she also longs to feel connected, to feel like what she's offering emotionally is creating something meaningful between you. When that connection feels one-sided, it's not the lack of attention that hurts. It's the lack of shared emotional investment. 7. She starts wondering if you're truly present. When you miss the little things, it signals to her that you might not be fully present. This doesn't necessarily mean you don't care, but it raises questions in her heart. See, really here with me, or is his mind somewhere else? Presence isn't just physical, it's emotional. Noticing small gestures is a sign of attentiveness, of being in tune with the other person's energy and effort. 8. She begins to feel like a background character in your life. No one wants to feel like they're in someone's life just to fill space. When she's the one making all the effort and it goes unnoticed, she can start to feel like a background presence, someone you're comfortable having around but not fully engaged with. That feeling eats away at her self-worth and enthusiasm. Slowly, she may stop trying, not out of spite, but because she doesn't feel like her presence truly matters to you anymore. Number 10. She's waiting for you to make a move. And here's why. Sometimes a woman's interest doesn't come in the form of loud declarations or bold gestures. Instead, it arrives quietly through subtle signs and consistent presence. She may not come right out and say it, but that doesn't mean she isn't hoping you'll take the next step. In fact, when a woman is genuinely interested, there's often a period where she pauses, not out of disinterest, but because she's giving you space to show leadership, initiative, or clarity. Let's explore the deeper reasons why she's waiting for you to make a move and what this really means from a thoughtful, emotionally intelligent perspective without romanticizing or misreading her intentions. 1. She values mutual initiative. When a woman waits for you to make a move, it's often not about playing games. It's about partnership. She wants to see if you're willing to meet her halfway. If she's shown signs of interest already through her time, her conversation, or her attention, she might be waiting for your response, not just your reaction. She values balance. She doesn't want to dominate the connection, nor does she want to feel like she's chasing something that's not reciprocated. By pausing, she's inviting you to demonstrate that you're just as invested as she is. 2. She respects her own emotional safety. Taking initiative, especially in emotionally vulnerable situations, can be difficult. A woman might hesitate to make the first big move because she wants to feel emotionally safe. It's not fear, it's wisdom. She's not trying to test you, but rather to protect her emotional well-being. If she feels you're consistent, clear, and respectful, she'll naturally feel safer moving forward. But often she waits because she wants to see that you respect her pace and won't make her feel foolish for showing care. 3. She's already given subtle signals. If you pay attention, you may realize she's not entirely silent. Might not say, "I'm interested," but her behavior speaks. Does she check in with you regularly? Does she remember small things you've said? Does she make space for you in her schedule even if she's busy? These small but sincere gestures are often her way of expressing openness, but she waits for you to acknowledge them, not just with words, but with a clear and thoughtful gesture that reflects your own interest. 4. She wants to know you're intentional. Many women hesitate to express interest directly because they've learned that clarity doesn't always come with kindness. So instead of jumping in, she observes. She listens to what you say, how you behave with others, and whether your attention seems scattered or grounded. She may be waiting to see whether your interest is thoughtful or impulsive, not because she's questioning your worth, but because she wants to connect with someone who is emotionally present, not just momentarily curious. 5. She's testing the waters quietly, not manipulatively. There's a difference between mind games and cautious curiosity. If she seems reserved, it may be because she's trying to figure out where you stand. Not out of manipulation, but out of hope. She doesn't want to assume anything. She wants to be sure that your next move comes from genuine connection, not convenience. Waiting in this case is not passive. It's observant. She's watching for consistency, not just charm, for kindness, not just attention. 6. She respects your autonomy too. It's easy to assume she's waiting for you to act because she lacks confidence, but often the opposite is true. She might have clarity about what she feels, but she doesn't want to intrude on your journey. She might think, if he's truly interested, he'll take a step forward. If not, I'll still respect him enough to let him go his way. This shows maturity. She's giving you room to lead, not because she can't, but because she knows that respect must flow both ways. 7. She wants to feel chosen, not chased. For many women, feeling chosen is not about ego. It's about emotional sincerity. When she waits for you to make a move, she may be hoping to feel that your interest is intentional, not just driven by availability or proximity. She wants to feel that you see her, not just someone to fill a void. When you take a thoughtful step forward, it tells her that you've considered it, that you value her for who she is, and that you're not just reacting, you're deciding. 8. She's not in a hurry. She's looking for depth. Some women don't rush into connection not because they're cold, but because they're thoughtful. She may be waiting for you to make a move simply because she's trying to build something that lasts longer than a moment. She's not just looking for emotional intensity. She's looking for reliability, for mutual effort, for something that grows with time. Your willingness to move slowly but with sincerity speaks volumes to her. She's inviting you into a conversation, not a performance. Making a move doesn't have to be grand. In fact, many women are not looking for some dramatic gesture. They're simply waiting for a moment of realness, a message, a conversation, a small step that says, "I'm paying attention and I care." When she's waiting, it may be her way of saying, "I've opened the door. Will you walk through it with kindness?" 10. She's showing patience because she sees potential. Finally, when a woman waits, it often means she sees something in you. She doesn't push or pressure. She simply allows space for timing, for trust, for mutual understanding. That patience is a quiet compliment. It means she values what you bring into the room, and she's not willing to rush past it. Instead, she pauses, hoping you'll feel the same depth she does and respond with care, not impulse. So, what should you do? If you sense that she's waiting for you to make a move, reflect on the following. Have you noticed her consistency or kindness? Have you returned her attention with presence or with hesitation? Have you let her know that her effort doesn't go unseen? Making a move doesn't mean changing your life overnight. It can be as simple as being a little clearer, reaching out a little more often, or expressing genuine appreciation for the connection you've shared so far. What she truly wants is not perfection, but presence, not dominance, but direction.